Hello and welcome to News Tonight. My name is Rodan Gonzi on Sign Language. Mugadun Mohammed, Patricia Likoma will join us in a bit, but let's take a look at the headlines. Uganda hands over body of slain Rwandan citizen. In 2018, police registered a 5% decline in crime rate. In international news, US President Trump meets Japan Emperor Naruhito. In the world of sports, the national team Uganda Cranes off to Dubai in preparation for AFCON. Hello once again. Uganda has handed over the body of the body of Rwandan national John Batista Cherengye, who was allegedly shot dead 3 days ago by soldiers from Rwanda as he attempted to cross into Uganda. The peaceful handover ceremony at Katuna border was witnessed by political and security leaders from both sides amidst calls for peace. The Ugandan delegation led by Ambassador Paul Mukombya, the head of Regional Peace and Security Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, accompanied by foreign envoys to Uganda, arrived at Kabale Municipality grounds to witness the handover. The delegation included Michael Shigri from the Embassy of USA, First Secretary Simon Tertier from the British High Commission, First Chancellor Clement Notel from the Embassy of France, Edward Talizin, Embassy of Russia, Ambassador John Bosco Barege of Burundi, and that of Tanzania, Dr. Azizi Lima. Now, the Mayor Nyagatare from the Eastern District of Rwanda, Mushabe Cloud, the Police Commander Eastern Region from Rwanda, Hatari Emmanuel, and relatives of the deceased crossed the border to the no man's land area to receive the body. Family members had an opportunity to view and ascertain if the body is of a person they know. Later, the bodies were handed over. Now, police have registered increased cases of murder, robbery and sex-related crimes in 2018 compared to the previous year, 2017. Political media and narcotics-related crimes also increased in 2018, and the Inspector General of Police, Martin Okothochola, sounded a tough warning to the perpetrators of the crimes. He was releasing the annual crime report 2018 at Naguru Best Police Headquarters in Kampala with an overall decline in the crime rate. Philip Aguta reports.
Police annual crime report for 2018 has registered an overall decline in crime rate compared to 2017. At least 238,746 cases were registered in 2018 compared to 252,065 in 2017.
Cases taken into court in 2018 were 73,035. Of these, 22,263 cases secured convictions. 1,248 cases were acquitted, while 90,763 cases were still under inquiry by the end of the year.
Though there is an overall decline in crime report, crimes like murder increased with a difference of higher than 24. Robbery increased also higher by 504 in 2018 than 2017. Sex-related offences also increased by 659 in 2018 than the previous year. Others include break-ins that increased by 135. Narcotics-related crimes also increased higher in 2018 by 36. Terrorism higher in 2018 by 4. Political and media-related offences increased by 249.
We are overwhelmed as police with the number of civil cases which are reported. I had informed you of the obtainings by false pretense. And we have cases of money lenders. Most of those cases are civil in nature, but people run to police. There are also cases of land fraud and mass evictions. where a number of people are, a whole village or a square mile of persons are evicted. So people always report to police, even if these cases are civil.
Meanwhile, economic crimes dropped by a difference of 932 in 2018 compared to 2017. Child-related crimes registered a decrease in 2018 by a difference of 3,504, while theft reduced by 5,006. In fire-related cases, a total of 1,018 cases were reported in the year 2018, lower than 1,099 in 2017.
Causes which are quite important. Negligence is one of them, and it tops the list with 186. Charcoal stoves, use of candles, and any other naked flame caused 169. Electrical short circuits followed in that order. Then electrical appliances left unattended to, like you are ironing using an electric flat iron, then you forget it on an ironing board.
Traffic-related offences also registered a reduction in 2018 as compared to 2017.
During the year 2018, 12,805 accidents were reported, and there was a reduction of 3% of total accidents reported. Leading regions in the country with accidents: Kampala Metropolitan South, where CBD, Kabaragara, Entebbe, and Nsanji divisions are located, recorded more accidents, especially minor, followed by Kampala North, where we have many accidents occurring around the Sangat areas. Harbatine region has more fatalities in borders.
While releasing the annual crime report 2018 in Naguru Police Headquarters, the Inspector General of Police, Martin Okoth-Ochola, warned the perpetrators of crime.
Now, where you have a lawless society, then you have anarchy. We shall not allow anarchy as long as this team is here. I always tell people, if you don't want to be inconvenienced by the state, be law-abiding. Mr. Bakar, if you don't want us to inconvenience you, be law-abiding, because the Constitution requires of us to preserve law and order. It does not say police maintaining. You see, in maintaining you can negotiate, but to preserve there is no negotiation.
I am Philip Aguta for UBC TV News.
Tebe is holding 14 suspects for destroying property worth 200 million belonging to Francis Angol. The contested land wrangle is between Francis Angol and Brenda Chirumira, daughter to business tycoon Moses Chirumira. According to Francis Angol, the 10 acres belonged to him. He expressed dissatisfaction on how police is handling the matter. The arrested suspects were from Shitemu and Chengera and were allegedly hired by Brenda Chirumira to destroy all property on the contentious land. Efforts to reach Brenda Chirumira were futile as she could not return the calls. The police is still investigating the matter. Buganda Kingdom and Sanea Naveta Foundation have entered a partnership to end type 1 diabetes in children. Research done on 300 children shows that all of them had signs of the disease that is caused by poor nutrition. The director board of the Sanea Naveta Foundation, Russell Goldman, says creating awareness among parents will address the silent killer.
Thank you. And keep coming. Keep coming.
A delegation from Sanea Naveta Foundation has met the second Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda Kingdom, Robert Waggwa, to forge ways of ending type 1 diabetes in children, representing the Nabagirika. Waggwa said emphasis must be put on type 1 diabetes for Ugandans to know its causes, solutions and consequences.
One of the challenges we have in our countries is lack of awareness. And that's where everything starts. Because when you are not aware about this kind of disease, when you're not aware where you can get the help, when you're not aware what kind of help you can get, it becomes a crisis. It becomes a crisis and people lose lives. But we thank you and Sonia Nabeta Foundation for bringing this and focusing on this aspect, because it's fatal. If you are not treated, you die.
The Nabagirika was spotted as an ambassador in this fight because of her determination in promotion of public health. Russell Goldman, a board director, Sonia Nabeta Foundation, said many children between the age of 8 to 18 have exhibited complications resulting from the poor management of blood sugar levels.
We have approximately 300 children who have come to our camps through the Sonia Nabeta Foundation, and the children range in age, I think, from approximately 4 or 5 years old to about 20 years old. And at that age, we've already started to see some signs and symptoms of the effects of type 1 diabetes that hasn't been optimally managed.
Type 1 diabetes is a non-communicable disease that affects children, yet it has a time-honored solution. Sudat Kai, UBC.
And our celebrations to mark 3rd June Martyrs Day draw closer. We bring you the life of one of the martyrs, Gonzaga Gonza.
Saint Gonzaga Gonza. He was a Musoga from the Bushback clan. His father was Gonza of the family of Zibondo of Bulamoji. He was captured by Kasoma Tegusaga Burusi, who treated him as his son because he was obedient, trustworthy, intelligent, and hardworking.
Oh, sisters, let's go down. Let's go down. Come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down in the river to pray.
When the king wanted good boys for service, Tegusaga selected Gonza, who was put to serve in the private section of the enclosure of Joseph Mukasabali Kudembe.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown, good Lord, show me the way.
He was converted into a Catholic and baptized on 17th November 1885 by Father Laudrell at Nalukolongo Mission Station. He was speared to death by Mukajanga on 27th May 1885.
And with that, we will take a short break. When we return, we have Patricia Lukoma on the business desk.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Hello, my name is, as usual, Mr. Budget. Now, the major aim of decentralization is to bring services closer to the people. You see, majority of Ugandans are actually served by their local governments. The overall local government allocation for the next financial year is 3.8 trillion shillings. Good money, right? And 2.8 trillion shillings of this is recurrent expenditure, while 948 billion shillings is development expenditure. The big question though is this enough for local governments to bring services closer to their people? Let's find out together at the budget reading on the 13th of June 2019. Our budget, our responsibility. This message is brought to you by CSBAG, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and URA.
Welcome back. My name is Patricia Lokoma. Welcome onto the business desk. And of course, this time around, we're going to have a little in-depth into what's happening on the Forex market, delving a little bit into the Forex rates. But first, let's look at the teachers visiting one of the factories within the country. Uganda Investment Authority targets creating employment for over 200,000 people after operationalizing the 99 companies that are still under construction in Namamve Industrial and Business Park. Now, the acting executive director, Uganda Investment Authority, Lawrence BNC, told visiting teachers and members of the Uganda National Teachers Association that the current 37 operational companies employ about 22,000 people. Let's see the details.
Members of Uganda National Teachers Union, UNATU, on an educational tour to Roofing's rolling mills, have learned that more jobs will be created for Ugandans. This tour follows President Museveni's proposal while meeting members of UNATU on enhancement of salaries of teachers to have them witness what government has so far done. About $220 million has so far been invested in this factory, which employs 900 people. The Secretary General, Uganda National Teachers Union, Baguma Philbert, says these processes need to be taught to students.
Learning does not stop. When you see iron bars, when you see iron sheets, you may not know the process they go through, other than reading in the books. So when you come here and see how the process is run, then you cannot say you have not learned. Learning has taken place.
Baguma insists that education and teachers' payments should be some of the priorities.
Because education is the backbone of development. We are here in the factory. Without education, you cannot have the workers we have here. And therefore, you cannot put education aside. Education cannot wait. So, our contention is that education and teacher issues should be among the priorities of this country.
At Uganda Investment Authority's offices in Namamve, the acting executive director, UIA, Lawrence BNC, said government commitment will improve investment.
You know, if you are an employee somewhere, you know that when they are paying your salary, the employer deducts pay as you earn and remits it to URA. But for us, that's not the big. It is, of course, it is tax. But for us, our focus is on the tax that is paid by the company to government. Okay? And you've heard that already 16 top taxpayers are already resident in this park.
Meanwhile, managers of Namamve Industrial Park say 245 million euros is needed to complete the park. I'm Nafka Farida and Daniel Mugoya at Namamve.
Now, in Amugongo, Uganda has become a faith-based tourism destination in Africa. Annually, hundreds of thousands of local and foreign tourists visit the Namugongo Catholic, Anglican, and as well as the Muslim Martyrs shrines. As 3rd June Martyrs Day celebrations draw closer, our reporters Rowena Kajumba and Dennis Sigo visited the museum at the Anglican shrine and have this to say.
It's a faith-based museum, and when people come, they need to appreciate where we have come from. So when you are able to appreciate where you come from, then you are able to project where you're going. Is this a museum to pay for? Yeah, this is a museum, and people pay to come in here because we want to finish. It's still undergoing construction. It started, it was a dream of an individual. Dr. Livingstone, the late Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, who started it as a person. People came up, and even the government of Uganda is supporting. So we call upon anyone who is coming to give towards this construction of this museum.
How affordable is it? If I want to come to the museum, how affordable is it?
As per now, we pay 5,000 adults and children 2,000. But in the times of, the Matters Week, we reduce the fee so that we have lots of people who come from different parts of the country and have spent a lot. They come to get to this place at a cheaper cost. So we shall have adults at 2,000 and then children at 1,000 shillings only. Reduced offer.
So how is business all year round? How does it go for you?
It is good. It's good, though it is seasonal. Yeah, now we have children who have got to know this place in schools. So schools bring their children here to be educated. People talk about the history, but they need to see where exactly these things happen and how. So inside here we have sculptures that bring out the story back to life. That reality they need to see and have a reflection of what they are being taught in school. So we have schools coming second term holiday. So there's always busy from June going onwards up to November.
We're always talking about marketing destination Uganda, right? To the globe. Of course, there is that religious tourism whereby people go to Mecca and others go to Israel, others, probably Bethlehem. I think this is one area where probably I will say from a Ugandan perspective, we have not really exploited the religious tourism. But from what we've been hearing lately, UTB, of course, Uganda Tourism Board, the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, they're all been focusing into such.
Now, there's so many things that are debated and discussed around the world, Dennis. Politics, business, and faith. But today, of course, we've been focusing on business and faith and how these two actually come in play. And I think we found out how.
Yes, faith-based tourism, it has worked in Israel, it has worked in Greece, it has also worked in Saudi Arabia. So why not Uganda? I think we also have the capacity of making this place in Africa the place where everybody can come for for faith-based tourism. The Anglican shrine where we are right now, the Catholic shrine which is about 1 kilometer away, as well as the Muslim shrine.
Well, thank you very much there, Dennis Sigoa and Rowena Kajumba. And of course, this, museum definitely showcases the artifacts that indicate the rich culture that we have in our country. Now, quickly onto the Forex market. As we focus on the Forex rates, we see the fluctuation of 3,755.13, 3,765.13. That is buying and selling respectively. Now, a little bit about this trend. We can call it a steady progress trend. We have been seeing this trend since the end of last year. A lot of analysts anticipated that probably this could change and trigger a 3,800 or even rather a 4,000 shillings, but we haven't seen that. Well, the shilling has been fighting against all other currencies, but the interesting part is the fact that the Tanzanian shilling has held steady at 1.63, which means they're above us by just 63 cents. Let's have a look at the details of the Forex rate.
move on to international news. Sudan's military ruler, Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, visited the United Arab Emirates, UAE, on Sunday, a day after making a similar visit to Egypt. The trips come amid reports that the ruling military council is considering sidestepping protest leaders and establishing a transitional cabinet. On 24th May, the council's vice chairman, Lieutenant General Mohammed Hamadan Dagalo, visited Saudi Arabia and held talks with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Talks between the council and the opposition forces for the declaration of freedom and change at FDFC have stalled because of disagreements on the composition of a civilian military body that will run the country during a 3-year transition. Saudi Arabia, UAE and Egypt are the main backers of Sudan's military rulers. Saudi Arabia and UAE have already given Sudan $500 million as part of the $3 billion pledge to support the economy shortly after President Omar al-Bashir was ousted in a coup on 11th April. President Donald Trump has become the first foreign leader to meet Japan's Emperor Naruhito. Trump, who is currently on a 4-day state visit to Japan, was greeted by the Emperor and Empress Masako at the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. The U.S. leader said ahead of the meeting that it was a great honor. Emperor Naruhito ascended the throne earlier in May after his father Akihito stepped down, the first abdication by a Japanese emperor in centuries. Trump and the First Lady Melania were greeted by a Japanese honor guard and crowds waving U.S. and Japanese flags as part of a formal welcoming ceremony on Monday. The U.S. president is said to have given a slight bow to the Emperor and Empress before entering the palace. Trump and the Japanese Minister Shinzo Abe also met on that's at the Akasaka Palace State Guest House, where they discussed trade and relations with North Korea. And it is being seen as the latest round of a bitter feud between President Andry Rajoelina, and his long-standing rival Mark Ravalomanan. Ravalomanan lost out to the president in the presidential election in December, but there are many more candidates running. Of the 800 candidates fighting for the 151 assembly seats, nearly 500 are standing as independents. Uganda, which has departed for Abu Dhabi to start a 3-week residential camp ahead of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Egypt. The team, captained by Dennis Onyango, departed at Entebbe International Airport in the early morning hours and were expected to have brief stopover in Cairo, Egypt.
Thirteen players and 10 officials have left for Abu Dhabi after a 3-week residential camp at Kabila Country Club ahead of Africa Cup of Nations finals slated for June 21st to 19 July in Egypt.
That's it, very good. Yep. Balance. Balance, avoid.
The players are Captain Dennis Onyango, Hassan Waswa, Joseph Ochaya, Timos Awanyi, Godfrey Lusimbi, Patrick Henry Kadu, Mugabe Bevis, Muleme Isaac, Aucho Karidi, Tadeo Ranga, Alan Chambade, Moses Waiswa, and Murishid Joko. The contingent is led by FIFA delegate Issa Magola, head coach Sebastian De Sabri, assistant coach Mathathule, goalkeeping coach Fred Kajoba, and team doctor Ronald Kisoro. Meanwhile, 15 more professional players will fly to Abu Dhabi to join the group. While in Abu Dhabi, The team will play 2 international build-ups and other technical training sessions. Mutesa Sida Haruna reporting for UBC News.
And Uganda Woodball Federation has promised to target bigger things for the sport in the future. This was revealed during the opening ceremony of the second Beach Woodball World Cup at Spena Beach, Entebbe.
The opening ceremony of the second Beach Woodball World Cup is done and dusted. Hosted at Spena Beach Entebbe, venue for competition, the glamorous occasion was graced by Minister in charge of general duties in the office of the Prime Minister, Mary Karoro Okrut.
The government of the Republic of Uganda gives assurance the Uganda Woodball Federation and assures it of its full support and cooperation in all ways. The Uganda government will be there for you.
Uganda Woodball Federation President Paul Makayongo says that this World Cup will form the benchmark for the sport.
To all the people of Uganda and create strong structures to develop the sport in all parts of Uganda, but also benefit our neighbors in the region.
This second Beach Woodball World Cup will be contested by 12 countries including Eritrea, South Sudan and China, which played a pivotal role for Uganda to host.
We are glad to see that in recent years, football, particularly young sport that originated from Taiwan, China, has been developing very quickly in Uganda.
Woodball is a relatively new sport in Uganda, which without Ndeje University wouldn't have possibly witnessed its first anniversary.
Football is a game of peace, harmony, friendship, and these are international norms. And that's why we encourage it. For us at the university, we don't have stripes, right? People play football easy.
Other countries expected at the tournament are Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. A trainer's workshop to hone skills further has opened proceedings, while the World Cup will be followed by the International Uganda Open Football Tournament. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Uganda volleyball team preparing for the Zone 5 Africa Volleyball Tournament has cried out to government to support the team during the preparations. The federation has confirmed that they cannot send a strong team minus resources to compete against the best in Africa. The team requires about $12,000 for both preparations and travel for the tournament that starts on 2nd June in Nairobi, Kenya.
We have professionals here from Europe, that is Ivan Ongom, Daudi Okello and Malinga Cathbert, and also 2 from Rwanda, that is Kitosi Ronald and Atama Sevia. We have challenges because we do not have access to an indoor, and we'll need to have as much time in the indoor in order to prepare adequately. We've been training from outdoor for the last 2 weeks, and we believe if we are given an opportunity to use the indoor at whatever time, either very early in the morning or later in the night when the people using it are done, we'll be so grateful. We are also soliciting and crying out to the government, to National Council of Sports and any other lover of sports, volleyball in particular, to come on board to support us with a budget of $12,000 that will cater for their transport to and from Nairobi, the accommodation of 20 persons on the contingent, as well as a modest.
It is very important to play the games in the indoor because where we are going to play from, we are going to play in the indoor. And volleyball is an indoor game. It is only in Africa where we play volleyball on grass. Fears of injury, fears of anything that might come up as you're playing outside. And you know we are in the rainy season. In the rainy season, we would be training now, but it's raining already. We cannot train. So our games have to be in the indoor all the time.
Boxing trials at the MTN Arena in Lugogo. Uganda boxing team has entered residential training in Luzira before the final selections rather. The team is preparing for All Africa Games in Morocco later this year. Uganda boxing president Moses Mohanji says that a section of the team will continue until they have the best team. The best boxers on the continent will compete at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020.
Are done. Now the winners here, there will be 26, 16 men and 10 women. These will go into the residential camps in Ruzira. And we hope the government should come through and support us because we're also really getting hard up. We've been borrowing money here and there, so we can't keep doing this all the time. So the camp will start immediately. Then the boxing will go on. Then after 1 month, we'll come back for the final elimination. The winners in July will be representing the country. But what we try to do as a federation is to make sure we provide platforms for all the boxers, equal opportunities, transparency, so the best guy takes the day. Yeah.
Everything they can do right now in the camp is to stay focused and consist on what they have been doing. Train hard and eat well, sleep well, you'll be strong. Next time they will do better.
And with that, let's quickly take a look at the headlines. Uganda hands over body of slain Rwandan citizen. In 2018, police registered a 5% decline in crime rate. US President Donald Trump meets Japan Emperor Naruhito. And the national team Uganda Cranes off to Dubai in preparation for AFCON. And that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Mugalu Mohammed on sign language. I am Rodan Gonzi.
And I'm Patricia Lokoma. Thank you so much for being a part of us.
Good night.